It had been a year since Olivia and Jake had moved into their new city apartment, a sleek space with high ceilings, panoramic windows, and an enviable view of the skyline. They were both in their early 30s, established in their careers, and had settled into the kind of comfortable routine that felt both reassuring and, at times, stifling. Jake, a lawyer with long hours, often came home exhausted, his tie loosened, his eyes bleary. Olivia, a successful marketing executive, had her own set of pressures, juggling demanding clients and tight deadlines. They loved each other deeply, but somewhere between the work, the responsibilities, and the expectations, they had begun to drift. The spark that once defined their relationship had faded into something predictable. Safe, but lacking the passion they once felt. One Friday night, after a particularly long week, they found themselves on opposite ends of the couch, half-heartedly watching a movie. The flicker of the television screen lit up their faces, but neither of them seemed engaged. Olivia reached for her glass of wine, hesitated, and then turned to Jake. "Do you ever feel like we've lost something?" she asked quietly, her eyes searching his face for a reaction. Jake blinked, taken aback. He set down the remote. "What do you mean?" "I don't know," she sighed, tucking her legs underneath her. "I feel like we've fallen into this routine. I miss the way we used to be spontaneous, wild, passionate. Remember how we'd stay up talking all night or take those weekend trips without any plans?" He nodded, staring at the floor. He did remember. The late night drives to nowhere, the impromptu dinner dates, the way they couldn't keep their hands off each other. Lately, they had been more like roommates than lovers, and the realization hit him harder than he expected. "I miss that too," Jake admitted, his voice soft. He turned toward her, and for the first time in weeks, they really looked at each other past the exhaustion, past the distractions. Olivia took a deep breath, then leaned forward. "What if we changed that just for tonight? No phones, no work, no distractions. Just us." Jake raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What are you suggesting?" She smiled, a hint of mischief in her eyes. "Let us make tonight different. Like it used to be. Let us not think about tomorrow or anything else. Just be in the moment. With each other." A slow smile spread across Jake's face, and for the first time in a while, he felt a familiar spark flicker in his chest. He stood up and extended his hand to her. "Okay, I'm in." Olivia took his hand, and together they left the living room, walking through the hallway, the weight of the week slowly lifting off their shoulders. Once in the bedroom, Olivia turned to Jake, their eyes locking in a way that felt electric, charged with an unspoken understanding. Jake reached for her, pulling her close, the warmth of his body against hers stirring something deep within them both. The kiss that followed wasn't rushed or hurried, but slow and intentional, a reminder of the connection they had let slip through their fingers. Each touch, each breath, was a rediscovery, a return to the intimacy they had once taken for granted. Time seemed to slow down as they undressed, their movements deliberate, savoring the moment. There was no rush, no need to prove anything, just the quiet, simmering desire that had always been there, waiting to be reignited. They fell into bed together, their bodies moving in a rhythm that felt both familiar and new, as though they were exploring each other for the first time. Hours later, as they lay tangled in the sheets, the city lights casting soft shadows on the walls, Olivia rested her head on Jake's chest. The silence between them was comfortable, filled with the unspoken promise that this was just the beginning of finding their way back to each other. "We needed this," Jake murmured, running his fingers through her hair. Olivia smiled, tracing circles on his skin. "Yeah, we did. Let's not let it slip away again." And so, in the stillness of that night, they made a silent vow to never lose sight of the passion that had once brought them together. They knew it wouldn't always be easy, but they had rediscovered the fire, and this time, they were determined to keep it burning.